This week's SmackDown began with the Bloodline arriving without Jey Uso. Kayla Braxton tried to establish what was going on, but she got little to no comment from Roman or the Wise Man. First match was Braun Strowman and Ricochet against Imperium. Winners would receive a tag team title opportunity next week on SmackDown. This is noteworthy, of course, because the current tag champs are the Usos. This match was decent, with Gunther being ejected for interfering on the outsides. Braun and Ricochet would go on to win, which does make sense because they are the face team. But I do feel sorry for Imperium. They are a good, credible team that have just lost to a team that's only been around for 5 minutes. Granted, it is Braun and it is Ricochet. So no shame, I suppose. What does this mean for next week, though? That's the bigger talking point. Will Jey turn up for that match? If he does, will he be motivated? Could he walk away mid-match? Could the Usos drop the tag belts to Braun and Ricochet? Could Solo Sikoa replace Jey if he doesn't turn up? Jey might not show until Elimination Chamber and could cost Sami there. It could be a 2023 Montreal screw job. There's so many great options. This is hard to call. Next, we got Ray and Dominik racing each other in NASCAR. This felt forced and fake, to be honest. Nowhere near as interesting or engaging as the Thanksgiving or Christmas interactions. This is something I think Fox just wanted to promote. I wouldn't have used Ray and Dominik for this segment personally. Next, we get Charlotte and Sonya facing off for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Match was fine. Lacked a bit of drama as I don't think anyone expected Sonya to win. She didn't, of course, and would end up tapping to the figure eight. I did wonder if someone would come out after, like a new challenger or Rhea even, but we didn't get anything. Next, we had Roman backstage sitting down asking where Jey was. Neither Jimmy or Solo had heard from him. Roman asked about next week's tag title match, and Jimmy said Jey would be there. I don't think he was saying that because he's spoken to Jey. I think it was more just belief that his brother wouldn't let him down. Roman sent them both off to try and find him. Viking Raiders took on the Brawling Brutes next. Raiders won, but they were attacked by Sheamus and Drew afterwards. Of course, Viking Raiders attacked Sheamus and Drew last week. Sheamus's vest got ripped off very easily during this confrontation. Hulk Hogan would have been very proud. Next, we got Bray. This was a little disappointing because I was expecting something a bit more, a bit bigger, a bit more significant. This was just Bray sat watching Rumble clips, and then Uncle Howdy came and put his hand on Bray. This is clearly a segment just designed to let you know that they're now on the same page. I must admit, I got that impression already from the Royal Rumble when Uncle Howdy launched himself on top of LA Knight. Kind of felt like they were working together then, so I didn't really need this, but I think it just kind of confirms that they are now on the same page, and that, of course, is not great news for the SmackDown roster. Next, we got the Fatal 4-Way. Winner would be added to the Women's Elimination Chamber match. It was Natalya against Shotzi, against Zelina, against Shayna Baszler. We went backstage and we saw Raquel and Liv watching this. Raquel would turn around and she seemed to have a nasty black eye. Felt like a bit of a reveal, like she was sort of hiding it and then she turned and you could see it. Yeah, it was nasty. Natalya won. That makes sense, of course. Elimination Chamber is in Canada, so makes sense. But of course, everything was about this final segment, and it absolutely delivered. So we got to the main event. Backstage, Roman apologized to Jimmy and Solo for how he spoke to them earlier. He's told them to go to the bus, the private bus. He said that the wise man had sorted some food. There was steaks, there was sushi. He said, go and have a good dinner. We then saw the WrestleMania graphics. These look really good, the match graphics. Obviously, we've seen the logo, but this is the first time we've seen these graphics. I think they look brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So they were cool. Then we got Roman head into the ring. Of course, he was being booed out the building. I would have liked more boos. You could even hear a few people cheering. I think there's a few people that just still think Roman is cool, and that's understandable, but I was really hoping it was going to be like after WrestleMania 33, where he couldn't even talk. Whenever he went to talk, like, they just booed even louder. It was nowhere near that, unfortunately. I was a bit worried about this crowd because they had been a bit quiet going into this final segment. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrific or anything like that. And there was some nice, loud Sami chants. But, yeah, I would have liked this. This was not like a crazy Chicago crowd, for example. But they were chanting for Sami. And Roman said, well, I don't need to ask what you want me to talk about. I was hoping to talk about Cody, someone that deserves my attention, but you just want to talk about the past. And he went on to say that at Survivor Series, he looked into Sami's eyes and what he saw was greed. Just like everyone in the crowd, they just want, always looking for things from the tribal chief, from Roman Reigns. Just like how Sami used him, used his family, used the island of relevancy. And he couldn't really get any further because then he was attacked. He got attacked, a mystery person, a hooded person. Obviously, it doesn't take Columbo to work out who this was, but Sami attacked Roman. Sami, place went bananas, great pop, big Sami chants. Roman retreated out of the ring. Sami said, you're wrong. I never wanted anything from you, but I do now. I want you, and I want a shot at that WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. And basically, he called him out, called his shot. Before he could really get any further, he would then be attacked. Jimmy and Solo, who we all thought were enjoying that lovely dinner, they attacked Sami. So Sami ended up in the corner with a chair over his head. Roman got back in the ring. He stopped Solo from attacking Sami. And basically he said, you've ruined my family. The crowd were chanting for Jey. Roman was like, the crowd want Jey. These people want Jey. I can't give them Jey. I can't give them my right-hand man because you split my family apart. In Elimination Chamber, in Montreal, I'm going to embarrass you in front of your family, in front of your friends. And basically the match was made. So it's going to be Roman and Sami for the titles at Elimination Chamber. And this was brilliant. I mean, it was captivating. It maybe wasn't the same levels as some of the other segments we've seen. Certainly not the end of the Rumble, for example. But yeah, this was still a big segment. Crowd went crazy when Sami arrived. Loud Sami chants. Didn't know which way it was going to go. Didn't know if we were going to see Jey, but I'm glad we didn't. I think, as we said, that's just going to add to next week. But yeah, so many twists and turns here. This was so engaging. Roman's shirt as well, it's worth mentioning. His shirt is just him and Paul Heyman. Might be a few people speculating about that because obviously we've seen Bloodline shirts where all of them are on the shirt. This wasn't a shirt that had Solo or Jimmy, or it was literally just Roman and Paul. And so I don't know what that means. What if that's foreshadowing the end of the Bloodline, for example? But it's a new shirt for Roman. But this was good. This was really good. All in all, I would say it was a safe and it was a solid show. Everything was the ending and everyone was waiting for Sami and the ending, and it didn't disappoint. I would give this show a 7.25.